Now from Times Square, here's what you need to know.
Dr. Jenda, let's talk about some medical headlines, especially as we enter Pride Month. There's this new report that's really interesting. It's highlighting the increased risk of cancer for those who identify as LGBTQ+. Yeah. Break this down for us.
So a report just out by the American Cancer Society. Based on observation and association, not yet cause and effect, but let me take you through it because the findings are significant. They found that people who identify as being part of the LGBTQ+ community may have an increased risk of certain types of cancers. Theories about this, possibly lifestyle factors. They may be more likely to smoke, drink, or live with obesity. There may be care inequities, avoiding doctor visits for fear of discrimination, which obviously is a massive problem. Big picture here in this country, there are 9 states that actually permit medical professionals to refuse care to people who identify as LGBTQ. That would pertain to 20% of the overall population, the LGBTQ population. And in this country, there's an estimated 1+ million LGBTQ+ people living with cancer. So I think we have to take this as an opportunity and a reminder. We have to look at different conditions amongst different patient populations to really be able to make good observations and then target some interventions that can help save lives.
So what can this report teach healthcare providers when it comes to inclusive care?
Well, first, healthcare providers, they have to realize that there is a stigma there on both sides of the street, and they have to increase awareness both for themselves and for their patients. It has to be a two-way street. Patients also have to have their share of responsibility, but the onus of responsibility has to start within the medical profession.
All right, Doctor, thank you very much. We
bet.
Appreciate it. Let's check in now with ABC's Jay O'Brien in Washington with a look at your latest headlines. Good afternoon to you, Jay. Good to see you.
DeMarco, my friend, good afternoon to you. And we begin with former President Trump going after the judge in his New York hush money trial days after that guilty verdict. Trump calling Judge Juan Merchan a devil. Those remarks a possible violation of the gag order still in effect in this case. Republican lawmakers now rallying around Trump as his lawyers plan to appeal ahead of next month's sentencing. Meanwhile, a new ABC News Ipsos poll found 50% of Americans think the guilty verdict was correct. 49% think it's time for Trump to end his presidential campaign. President Biden's son, Hunter Biden's trial begins today on federal gun charges. The president's son faces 3 counts for allegedly obtaining a firearm while he was using drugs. Jury selection getting underway. Hunter Biden says he's being politically targeted. He could face up to 25 years in prison. And history made in Mexico as voters elect a woman to be president for the first time. Claudia Sheinbaum celebrating a victory after winning by 30 points. Sheinbaum is also Jewish, another first in an extremely Catholic country. She takes office in October. And a cucumber recall in 14 states. The FDA sounding the alarm over salmonella concerns after a product sample tested positive. Fresh Start Produce in Florida shipped the cucumbers in mid-May. The states affected in this recall include New York, New Jersey, Florida, Illinois, and Ohio. Now to our Ginger Z with the latest in your weather.
Let's start with a look at the excessive heat watches and warnings all the way from Phoenix and Tucson up to Redding, California. So you can see Las Vegas is also in that excessive heat warning. They could see their earliest 110 on record. The average first 110 is more like July 1st. So this is early. It's going to stick around Thursday and Friday. Phoenix could see record at 112. Boise and Salt Lake all very warm. So let's then talk about the other big headline, more damaging wind and even a tornado threat. The western Red River right along the state line of Oklahoma, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth back in it, up to Springfield, Missouri, Rockford, Illinois today, and Milwaukee. All look for severe weather.
And they call her the GOAT for a reason. Simone Biles, now the 9-time U.S. all-around champ. Biles dominated at the U.S. Gymnastics Championship over the course of those 2 days. She noticed the highest score of all 4 events: balance beam, floor exercise, uneven bars, and vault. Congratulations to her. Biles' win extends her record at nationals as she cruises her way to the Summer Olympics in Paris, guys.
There's a reason why we call her the GOAT.
Yeah. Also, it's so remarkable what she's been able to do. Most gymnasts have not had careers that long. For her to be still competing and
winning,
blowing everyone out of the water is crazy.
Yeah. That is cool. Jay, good to see you. Thank you.
Up next here on GMA3, the dad detained in Turks and Caicos wins back his freedom. Now he's speaking out about the luggage that got him in trouble with the law and the struggle his family faced while he was locked up in the Caribbean.
And in our Broadway Spotlight, the musical that's nabbed 7 Tony nominations. Joining us is the actress hoping to take home a big win this season. She's telling us all about her role in Merrily. We roll along. Stay with us, everyone. We're back in a moment.
Welcome back to GMA3. It's the vacation turned nightmare for Brian Hagerich and his family. They were leaving Turks and Caicos, heading back home when he was arrested. Authorities finding 20 rounds of ammunition in his luggage. Hagerich was one of 5 Americans detained on similar charges there.
He faced up to 12 years in prison for violating local gun control laws. But after a guilty plea, a judge sentenced him to a suspended 52-week sentence and a fine. Brian has now reunited with his family. He and his wife, Ashley, are both joining us on GMA3 for their first in-person TV interview. Good to see you guys, and thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So you guys have finally reunited here. Brian, what were you thinking when all of this happened?
Just completely awestruck. We had no idea what was about to unfold. At the time, I thought, my biggest concern was boarding that flight, getting back to Ashley and the children, which we quickly learned was not going to be the case.
I have to ask you the question I think so many people have is, how did that ammo end up in your bag? Did you know that they had laws against having ammunition brought to the country?
So the bag's one I frequently use for hunting trips throughout the fall and the winter time. In comparison to size for the whole bag, it was 2 to 3% of the entire weight. So it's not something you would easily recognize. It had multiple compartments, and it was certainly a mistake that I made, that not checking every last pocket.
And Ashley, this all started off as a random bag check, and you were actually pleading with officials, just let us pay a fine and let us go.
Certainly, because in the United States, that's what would happen. If something like this happened, you would pay a fine, get rid of the ammo, and you'd be on your way. So I just said, can't this be resolved differently? Can't we just pay a fine and board our flight? And I think we very quickly realized that was not going to be the case.
But when did you say to yourself, okay, this is bad. This is really bad.
Really bad. So I would say it was after we were taken away from Brian. So the kids and I, we had maybe 30 seconds to say goodbye to Brian. And one of the TSA officials, custom officials, took us to our gate because our flight was boarding rather quickly. So then I kind of looked at her and I was like, I need to understand, are you a mother? And she kind of looked at me and I was like, I need to understand, what's really happening here? What's the severity? Can you be honest with me and let me know what's really going on? And she said to me, point blank, she's like, you're not going to see your husband tomorrow. She's like, you're not going to see your husband for a couple weeks. And I kind of was very taken aback. And that's when she was like, this holds a mandatory minimum of a 12-year jail sentence. And it floored me, because there I am with both of our children. They're crying because their dad's not with us. And in that moment, I think I very quickly realized the severity of what we were dealing with in that moment.
What would y'all tell other families that are thinking about going there for vacation?
Well, I'm a human. I made a mistake. We're all human. Certainly be very, very thorough when checking your bag. Plain and simple, we never thought this could happen to us. Never in 1,000 years did I expected to be detained in Turks and Caicos for 3.5 months. So it can happen to anyone, and to be careful.
Yeah, and I would say this is a place that we'd visited 4 times prior. Our kids looked forward to going there every year.
So you never imagined something like this would happen?
Never imagined. It's a place that we love, and we've always respected the island, and we love going there. So I think, we're all human, and never in a million years did we think we'd find ourselves in a situation like this. So I just think it's important for people to really, give others grace, because anybody can make a mistake that can really impact the rest of your life rather quickly.
Would you guys go back?
I think we're going to consider some different vacations. There are obviously a lot of great choices, different places to make memories.
Yeah,
there are 2 Americans who are still there that I want to ask you about. Ryan Watson and Sharita Greer. You were actually telling me about Sharita's conditions, said she was handcuffed to a chair.
Yeah, so we were the first ones to visit Sharita once we learned of her being taken into custody. We were able to bring her food, a blanket, pillow, just basic necessities that she needed. And we did find her handcuffed to a chair for 3 nights. She has some medical conditions that she suffers from. Thankfully, she's okay, but we were very, very concerned for her.
And what are you hoping for them? I know you said you consider them family.
Absolutely. I lived with both of them for multiple weeks, so they are family to us. Obviously, with me being the first one released, hopefully a precedent has been set that allows them to return home soon to their families as well.
Brian and Ashley, thank you so much for being here with us
Thank
today.
you for having us.
Thank you.
Just ahead here on GMA3, Jennifer Lopez pulls the plug on her summer tour.
We're going to talk about it here, what's behind her change of plans, plus the forecast on big acts taking the stage at our latest installment of Monday Morning Quarterback with Mike Muse. Come on back, everybody.
We've got the exclusive view behind the table. Every day, right after the show, while the topics are still hot, the ladies go deeper into the moments that make the View the View. The Views Behind the Table podcast. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. Lainey Wilson, now streaming on Hulu. The story you haven't heard.
I experienced a lot of heartache. I'm a tough woman, but it's not easy.
Lainey Wilson.
It's taken me a really long time to even get to this moment.
And the CMA Award for Entertainer of the Year
Goes to
Lainey Wilson.
Hey y'all, it's Lainey. I cannot wait for you to see my special streaming on Hulu. This has been a wild ride, and you'll get to ride alongside me on this journey.
Lainey Wilson, Bell Bottom Country, now streaming only on Hulu.
All right, welcome back to GMA3. That was, of course, one of Jennifer Lopez's hits, but she will not be getting loud this summer after she canceled her This Is Me live tour on Friday.
It's a good song. Here to catch us up on what we need to know and to break down what kind of summer concerts we can expect is our very own and our favorite, Mike Muse.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday.
Okay, so
Summertime.
This is really interesting to me, the statement that you made. Before we get to the concert headlines, you say we need to know our concert goer identity.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What is that?
That's important. But we have to know, are you a festival outdoor concert person or are you arena stadium? Me personally, I'm an arena stadium. I like a reserved seat.
Too many people in an arena.
I like a reserved seat.
There's a lot of people in
I
a
like
festival.
temperature controlled climate. Are y'all talking to me?
Yes, I know. We're sitting over here fighting.
I'll give you time. Look, I'll give you time. Let me know when you're ready. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I didn't totally let me interrupted. I'm like, are y'all what?
Go ahead. You have the floor.
For the first time ever. No, continue. Is it me or you? Okay,
it's you.
Good.
No,
Okay.
but so you're saying that there's a difference. You can choose where you want to see a concert. I'm sorry, Mike.
Totally fine. I love you, America. No, I prefer like arenas and stadiums because I like a reserved seat. Particular arenas I like climate controlled. And if you have a suite for me, that's even better, right? But some people love the festival experience. Some people like standing outside. Some people like seeing a wide range of individuals. And people don't mind standing and people don't really mind the seats. But I like a little comfort right now in my life.
Yeah, you don't get a seat at a festival.
I'm in my comfort era.
Unless you're fancy.
Can I step in and ask a question?
Please, I mean, it is your two shows. I'm just here, but I like a little Southern hospitality. I'm good.
Let's talk about J-Lo. So she just canceled her concert here. A lot of people are not happy about it, but you say there is sort of like this wave right now of people canceling their concerts?
Yeah, so definitely J-Lo canceled her concert, and I do feel bad. I mean, that can't be a good feeling when you have to cancel your concert due to slow ticket sales. But there are a lot of other artists like that too as well. The Black Keys currently right now, they canceled their concert tour as well. J-Lo did release a statement that she is heartsick about the idea of having to cancel and disappointing her fans. But the challenge these days in this new era that we're in with digital music and streaming platforms is that it's so hard for artists to be relevant today, right? Like you have to constantly be pushing out music and singles. Even in between albums, it's important that you release singles so that way you can always get introduced to new audiences. Because the price of tickets are so expensive, it's hard to do what we used to back in the day when artists can make an album, come out 10 years later, and then sell out Madison Square Garden. It's just not like that anymore.
But how does it work for some and not for others? I mean, Lauryn Hill hasn't made a hit in 25 years, but she sells out places all over the country.
New Kids on the Block.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's still rocking.
Yeah. There's some legacy artists like the Rolling Stones, Lauryn Hill, the U2s of the world. They do have an established discography. They have an established fan base, and so it's easy for them to come out and particularly sell out shows. And it's particularly the dynamic of dynamic pricing with ticket sales, with Ticketmaster and Live Nation. The U.S. Justice Department does have a lawsuit against against Live Nation and Ticketmaster, looking at them a monopoly. But I disagree with this lawsuit and the aspect of it doesn't solve the issue of pricing. So if I'm going to spend $500 for a ticket, I have to have more music from you more consistently, or I'm just going to choose a festival. The thing with the U.S. is, if they really want to help consumers be able to afford ticket prices, they have to pass laws through Congress that regulates the amount of ticket sales that are on the third market, just the way Europe does. The reason why people went to go see Beyonce and Taylor Swift in Europe, because it was cheaper. Europe has a regulation where they only mandate 20% markup on the tickets and resale. So if the U.S. wants to really care about the consumer, monopoly is one thing. But what hurt me was that people were saying, hopefully the tickets will be cheaper now. No, because we still do what the market demands. And there are people willing to pay thousands of dollars to see Beyonce.
We've seen
so
that.
there will always be the cost of that ticket.
Yep, and when you can go to Europe and see them over there and have a trip, that's what people will do.
Exactly. St. Thomas.
Thanks.
Thank you, man. Good to see
And we
you.
will
like
see
your
you
tan,
next
Eva.
week for Monday morning. It's courtesy of my cousin's wedding.
All right, folks, when we come back, Dr. Jen has some tips to give you about your GI tract, how to reset it.
Plus, he's a farmer turned comic, and he's here to make us laugh. The comedian taking a break from his goats and chickens to take a nationwide tour by the horns. Dr. Jen back with us, and today we're talking about something a lot of my mom friends have talked about because they've noticed anecdotally younger and younger girls starting their periods. What is behind this?
And this was the latest published study in JAMA Network Open. This is a trend we've been following for several decades, I want to be clear, and we're talking particularly about the age of a first menstrual period in girls gradually ticking down, getting younger and younger, now hovering around on average for North American girls, all comers, 11 and a half years of age. That's average, which means if you look at a bell-shaped curve, you're going to see some girls getting their first period at age 9, 9 and a half, 10. Body mass index, obesity, childhood obesity play a big role, but this study found that only approximately half of those early puberty in girls is tracked to their BMI. So what is causing this change? Other theories, our environment, anything from air pollution to those forever chemicals that we're exposed to so often, childhood stress, adverse childhood experiences, which can trigger that whole hormonal axis. And I want to be clear, this has some real physical as well as psychological adverse negative consequences down the road. We have to pay attention to this.
I was about to add, you factor in the emotional and psychological impact.
It's huge, you guys. So we have to remember a 9-year-old having to deal with this, it does not have the same emotional preparedness as a 12 or 13-year-old. So this is where you need all hands on deck. You need dads involved, you need pediatricians involved, you need teachers involved, and we need to understand that this can be very, very hard for those girls.
We used to look at it as like, oh, you're becoming a woman.
Yeah.
That's not that.
At the age of 9,
No.
10, that's a big deal.
young.
Yeah.
All right, we're back in a moment. Stay with us.
All right, Dr. Jen, we have a question from one of our viewers. Here it is. Should women take creatine, and what are the benefits and the side effects?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it sure is. And I love the way Kat S. is thinking about it. Risk versus benefit, side effect, and should women. So again, it's not one size fits all. This is a nutritional supplement, one of the most common used, one of the most well studied in the world for years. We have a lot of good peer-reviewed scientific literature on creatine. It's a compound that's essential in protein metabolism, our muscles contracting, working well, ATP formation. Remember back to your high school chemistry class? Look at how Eva gets a smiley face on.
I was not good in chemistry.
And it's found in our tissues. It's found in our bodies, but a lot of people supplement. I'm one of them. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of data in women, shocking. But there is a lot of data in men. It is thought to be generally very low risk, may have some significant benefits metabolically, hormonally, neurologically, and not just in terms of
It makes you
building
bulk
muscle
up,
mass.
right?
Not really bulk up. Muscle protein synthesis, so it can make you stronger. It can impact your athletic or exercise tolerance in a good way. Postmenopausal women, it's generally recommended. Again, not officially. I take it myself, but people should talk to their healthcare provider about any nutritional supplements.
It's a good conversation worth having, too.
It sure is.
Your prescription for wellness.
All right, well, inspired by a lot of questions I've been getting on my Instagram about how to reset your GI tract. So give it a little break, show it some love in terms of your gut health. Number one, avoiding sugar, alcohol, processed foods and ultra-processed foods, incredibly important, including fiber and prebiotic foods. That's the food that the bacteria in your gut feed on, so that's really important. And then trying your favorite, Eva, fermented foods like kimchi or probiotics, really good for our gut microbiome.
Yes, the staple in my diet.
Correct.
All right, Doc, thank you. And folks, we would love to hear from you, so please hit us up on Instagram with all of your medical questions for America's favorite doctor at ABC, GMA3. Still ahead this afternoon, she's in the running for Best Featured Actress at this year's Tony Awards. Lindsay Mendez tells us all about her role in the stage revival of Merrily, We Roll Along. It's straight ahead in our Broadway Spotlight.
And the cooking competition with international flair. We talked to the Chow House host, who's whipping up a taste of Italy.
When it comes to winning elections, is it really the economy, stupid? Are soccer moms the quintessential swing voter? And does it matter which candidate you'd rather share a beer with? Every election cycle, cliches come easy. But are they right? In a new series on the 538 Politics podcast, we're taking a look back at conventional wisdom from past elections. Where did that wisdom come from? And does it hold up today? Find the Campaign Throwback series in the 538 Politics feed wherever you get your podcasts.
People who disappear without a trace.
Where is she?
The most notorious murder cases in New York.
Pure evil.
And the most devious killers.
There's a Hannibal Lecter feel to him.
For chilling true crime stories, follow the True Crime NYC podcast wherever you listen.
Welcome back to GMA3, the 7-time Tony-nominated Broadway musical revival of Merrily, We Roll Along.
And with us now is one of the stars of the show who also just received a Tony nomination for her role as Mary Flynn. Please welcome Tony Award winner Lindsay Mendez.
Lindsay.
Hey, guys.
Good to see you.
Oh, so happy to be here.
We have to say congratulations first, because it's such a big deal. When you found out you got the nomination, where were you? How'd you find out?
Oh my gosh. Well, this is my second Tony nomination, and the first time I didn't have any children, and I think I slept through it because it's early in the morning for us show folk. It's like at 8:30. Right. But this year I have a 3-year-old and one on the way, so I had been up for hours, and we all watched together. And then my daughter had ballet, so we were like, great, you're nominated. Okay, you're gonna be late for ballet. And I'm like getting her ready and zooming her out the door. And it was just like
Let's get back to the
another
daily
day.
routine,
Yeah,
right?
it's like with the kids, like nothing's that special. We gotta focus on the schedule. So it was great.
You mentioned it. It's already tough and challenging being on Broadway, but to be pregnant and on Broadway,
I know.
Has it been wild for you, or just
I'm an insane person to be doing this. Yeah. I'm 6 months pregnant. It's been crazy. Thank you.
And getting kicked at the moment.
Literally being kicked while trying to perform, while trying to do anything. But it's been, I'll say as a woman, I think I always was like, I don't know if I can do it all, because it's so hard to have a career and also have a family. But I've learned that, like, if you have the right support and the right bosses and everyone wanting this for you, you can actually do it all. And my cast is so supportive, and it's been really fun for us to kind of all be on this journey together, 8 times a week. They're through my morning sickness, through all of it, through being kicked, and now them managing my belly and my costumes. And it's been a trip. I'm never going to forget it. And hopefully this little one will have
a story
the music
to tell
in their in their body
from
every day. Yeah, it's super cool.
Well, and then these guys have been part of your journey, your love journey for a while. They were part of your wedding?
They were, yes. Jonathan,
that's cool.
I know. Jonathan was, he married my husband and I. He's done it a bunch of times. We always say it's his side hustle. I was like, I'm going to leave you a Yelp review. He was he's really good at it. We had premarital counseling with him, which is hilarious. And then Dan was our ring bearer.
Oh, wow. Wait a minute. That's
yes,
like the
Daniel
new trend
Radcliffe.
now, like
Yes.
where grown men are like ring bearers.
Yeah, he was our ring bearer. He was very nervous about it, which is very him. But he got the job done. And we've the show is about friendship, and the three of us in the past couple of years making the show have just become like family. We're super close.
A lot of celebs have come to the show, but to have Meryl Streep and Martin Short there, what was that like? Any pressure?
The best day of my life to get to meet them, and they were so generous and loved the show so much. I mean, they're such huge like theater, connoisseurs and fans, and it was a dream to perform for them. And then they came back, they met our cast, Meryl spent time with me and was like, I can't believe you're pregnant, doing this. And we had like major conversation about acting and how I prepared, and I was just like, well, how do you want me to prepare? Like, tell me what to do.
But did you know she was in the audience?
Yes. And you can see her. We can see you. We can see you.
So if you're making faces.
I know. Yeah. We see everybody. So yeah, you always see who's out there. It's crazy.
Oh, that would be so nerve-wracking.
Oh, very nerve-wracking.
You kind of get over it, but that was scary. That was Meryl Streep. That's huge. Yeah.
No, that's major.
Yeah, you want to deliver.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
On all of it.
So
everything.
Much. Thank you.
And good luck at the Tonys. Merrily We Roll Along is playing now through July 7th at the Hudson Theater right here in New York City.
Women have superpowers. You are amazing.
Thank you so much.
All right, when we come back, we're saying hello to Chow House.
The Food Network competition kicks off with a new season, and we are joined by one of the hosts who is sharing a tasty treat for your summer gatherings.
Oh, we love this lady right here. Please welcome back Food Network's new season of Chow House, where rising culinary stars live together in a villa and compete to see who has the top Italian culinary skills.
This is my favorite things: reality TV, food, cooking, all the things. One of the show's judges is joining us now to share one of her summer staples. Please welcome Chef Alex Garnish-Teller.
She is back. Woo.
Thank you.
So what are we making?
Well, we're making a little chicken salad. Would you put that oil in?
This smells very different than my chicken salad.
So we're adding a little oil. I roasted a chicken, it's whole, or we cut it up, but then we use all those lovely juices from the bottom of the roasting pan to make a little vinaigrette.
Smells so good.
Right? It's kind of meaty. Ooh la la. Can I get a little la la, right?
Ooh la la.
Yeah, I think so. So in here we have, would you whisk for me?
Okay, yes ma'am.
Mustard and a little bit of balsamic, and then a little oil and the juices from the pan, and then we just literally pour it into
that's amazing.
a container, and that's our dressing. But it's almost like a meat sauce, so it's got this heartiness without anything.
And it makes you look fancy.
Yeah.
It does.
You're like, I'm sorry, I made the vinaigrette from drippings. I don't know what you did.
Right. And how long does this process take right here? Is it
literally? Guess what? We're done.
Oh, nice. We like that.
We pour it in here. Right?
Okay.
This is the kind of stuff. So a little thigh meat, a little breast meat, a little of both. You can cut the chicken however you like. The doctor's checking for doneness.
I'm just seeing how you are with that sharp instrument. Of course, amazing.
And you guys have been friends since high school. We should remind everyone of that.
Right
Can you believe that?
It's true. Yeah.
Yes, we ate chicken in the cafeteria
We're holding
together.
up pretty well, I would say.
Yes, you are.
Yes, we're
you
both
are.
freshly 23. Going very well. So in here, a little salad. You could really put anything in here. A little of that dressing. We've got a little endive and arugula and tomatoes because it's the season. I like a little tarragon in there because it's like that French bistro vibe. And maybe I like a lot, literally a lot of tarragon. We just toss with that dressing.
Well, we both immediately got in here.
Alex, what other type of protein could you do with this?
How is it?
Honestly, I'd be hard pressed to find one that wouldn't go here. And that's what I love. Steak, fish, you could use tofu, you could use a grain.
That tarragon is a great addition.
Berries or
I feel like the combo of the balsamic and the mustard is always a winner.
It is, and I put mustard in everything. People make fun of me. They're like, here's a jar of mustard, make something. But it has a natural thickener. It's naturally acidic and bright, and it thickens things without cornstarch or flour or other things that make us feel heavy. Because this time of year, we want to eat like hearty and healthy, but also, a little light, right?
Of course.
And pretty.
Is this a family recipe or an Italian staple?
Neither. How about that for honesty?
Okay.
This is what Gabe and I make on the set of Chow House when the contestants go back to the villa to relax. Gabe and I will make a salad like this behind the scenes just to have something kind of simple.
Do you have to
and
supervise
fresh.
anything on location, if you know what I mean? Like do you have to go to the villa?
Gabe and I are at the villa at Chow House all day with the contestants. We don't stay there, and they live there. We don't. So Mom and Dad, we leave the villa at night, and they argue about who got eliminated and who's doing well. So I always say ciao in Italian means both hello and goodbye.
That's right.
And that kind of applies on this show.
Yeah,
it's a little ciao, like,
I mean, but
hi.
living with the people you're competing against and the pressure, the chef cooking in the kitchen, there's already pressure there.
Yes.
So is there lots of drama? As someone who loves to watch
Of course
reality
there's drama.
Wait, what she's asking is, can we visit? I think, really.
You know
That
what
would
it
be
is?
fun.
Chefs are passionate people, okay?
Yeah.
So people are always like, is the drama manufactured? I'm like, no. Chefs are pirates. Like, put us on the boat with the eye patch, and we're gonna double down.
I love in that
fireworks.
clip. I love in that clip. You were like, "What's your backup plan?"
Yeah,
And he didn't have one.
No, he's cooking potatoes. There's 5 minutes left. What are we having here? He's like, it's fine. He had to cook and cool the potatoes and stuff them in fresh pasta and make a ravioli. And I was starting to develop a tick looking at him. You know what I mean? But I love it.
I wouldn't make
We love you.
Is that funny? So this is soup, right? How was this? What do you think?
Delicious.
Yeah.
Really good.
I
We
need
love it.
feedback. I'm very needy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Chefs, you know what I mean?
You don't need any feedback. You know you're the
This
bomb.
is a way more rich chicken salad than I think I have had in a very long time.
And you've killed it. You still going?
I'm still eating, but we have to read next, so that's why I stopped.
All right, Chef, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Good to see you here. And Chow House airs Sundays on Food Network. Take your time, even. For today's recipes, go to
goodmorningamerica.com/food or scan that QR code right there on the bottom
Not
of the
to be outdone. Very competitive. I love her. Up next on GMA3, he's a comedian, a content creator, and a farmer.
We are joking around with Matt Matthews, the hot takes and big laughs he's taking on his stand-up tour. Back to the food.
And this guy's already on fire in studio right now as we speak. Welcome back to GMA3. Our next guest, who skyrocketed to fame when he posted a video on TikTok doing his usual farm chores and hilariously talking to his animals.
Yeah, that's how he's talking to us, too. And ever since, it has been a whirlwind of excitement. Here to tell us all about his upcoming projects and his current comedy tour, When That Thang Gets a Thangin'.
Period.
There we go.
Dude, you are funny. Good to see you, man.
Thanks for having me.
The question, though, is what does that mean? When that thing...
I can't say that on national television.
We're on delay.
Okay, well, what it means is... Okay, so how it really happened is I was taking care of my animals one morning, and my best friend was filming me, and I was in my robe, because, you know, laundry detergent is expensive, so I'm not putting on regular clothes.
Also, those animals are dirty.
Yeah. And so I just had on... Why you gotta talk to them like that?
No,
you can't do them like that.
That was a little shade,
That was
wasn't it?
shade. That was shade.
Yeah.
So I had my robe on, and I didn't have no drawers on. And so I was twerking. And they was like, I said, baby, when that thing gets a thing, and you can't talk about it.
That was not the answer I was expecting.
You asked.
U-A-S-K-E,
You asked and I
Delivered.
tell.
So you were... This was what you did every day. You were farming.
I'm this ridiculous in real life.
You were taking photos. Photography was part of. All of this just happened.
Yeah, I was a boudoir photographer for over a decade, and I really wanted to show people how beautiful they were, and like their weight was not determined by their self-worth was not determined by their body weight. And so I did that for a lot of years, and I've had this incredible business. And performing was always something that I loved, and I always wanted to make people laugh. That's what made me feel good. And so everybody was like, "You should do comedy." And I was like, I have no desire to do comedy. But I was just so ridiculous in real life that, I just started filming my personal life and putting it on the internet, and it
so
blew
natural,
up.
right?
Yeah, my first video, 13 million views, and I was like,
wow.
What?
I'm funny.
So what has that transition been like for you? I mean, to go from posting, funny
Insane.
videos online to stand-up comedy, sold-out shows.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I started my first headlining tour. This is my first headlining tour, and I sold over 150,000 tickets in the first year, and got to play places like Vegas and Times Square, and it's just been, I'm just so grateful. I never expected it, but I love it more than anything. and it's definitely a whirlwind.
I have to ask about your upcoming YouTube series, Doing the Most.
Oh, yeah.
But I also have to ask about your chickens. Do they miss you? I mean, now you're a big
who's
celebrity.
taking care of them?
Who is taking care of them?
My aunt. Oh, y'all see me? I'm a ballerina. So this is my new series coming out this fall on YouTube. It's called Doing the Most, and it's everybody says that I'm good at everything, but I'm really not. And so this is a show where I go and I do things that are just ridiculous that I would have never done in my personal life, like ballet. And it just shows that I'm really terrible at a lot of things, and it's been great. And my aunt and uncle, they take care of the farm when I'm on tour, so it's I definitely have an incredible support team, and without them, I would not be able to do what I'm doing.
Correct.
Why is laughter so good for the soul? You know, I just feel like you brighten up everybody's day.
We're just in such a dark world. You know, I grew up really poor in government housing with an alcoholic mom, and I didn't know how to cope or how to get through life without laughing, you know, making fun of myself and making fun of the situation and just, you know, trying to be better. And so I made a promise to myself at a very early age that I wasn't going to be like the rest of my family. And so I just started just being funny, and I just started it was just very natural to me. You know, I never really had to try to be funny. And it's funny, I used to get kicked out of class in high school because I was my mouth, you know, because I would just say stuff. And now I get paid for it, so joke's on you, baby.
Take that.
You're going to make us cry and laugh. Like, I can't handle all the feelings today.
Dry it up. Dry it up.
And we have a little something for you.
Oh, yeah, so we know you do the robe thing with the chickens.
Yeah.
So we thought we should add
what are you guys doing?
What is this? What is this? Oh, I thought it was about to be a chicken. I was like, wait a minute, y'all got a chicken? Y'all got Tractor Supply?
We wouldn't have stuck a chicken in a box.
So wait, cool. I just have my hair done and stuff, but you know.
Oh my God.
Just lay it up top.
Ooh, and my.
Oh yeah, you keep it all covered up.
Keep it covered up. This is morning television, baby.
Matt, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And you can visit his website for tour dates and ticket information, and be sure to check out his YouTube series this September. That was a lot of fun.
I've been so much fun.
Thank you.
That is what you need to know for this Monday. I'm Eva Pilgrim.
I'm DeMarco Morgan.
And I'm Dr. Jen Ashton.
For all of us here at ABC News, have a great day, including Matt right here, our new friend. We'll see you tomorrow.